Hi, it's Jane, and I thought that today I would sit and knit with you a little bit while we chatted. This is the back of that sweater, and I've had a couple of folks tell me from this point here needs about 2 more inches before it should be bound off. So let me get my yarn from my kitty, who thinks she has to play with it, and we'll get to knitting. She really thinks she has to help. She's not much help at all, to be honest. She's really a pain in the when she gets in there and thinks she's got to help. So anyway, the Healthier You that I had done with the obesogenics, boy, that brought trolls out in a major way. And I thought it was rather funny, some of the comments I had. 2 of them were probably meant to be derogatory. One was, or perhaps you could stop overeating rubbish. Well, fruits, vegetables, salad, occasionally with some meat, that's rubbish? Okay, whatever. That next one was That Smile, obesogenics. You clearly adore having something external to blame, but don't eat garbage. Just don't eat garbage. Which I thought was rather funny, since the person's name on this was Rage Pig. And then this last one was somewhat helpful. It's lifestyle, ma'am. I know you likely don't see it while you are obese, but what you do is a direct cause for your obese state. Calories do not come from the air. Make some lifestyle changes, and you will also see changes. I lost 150 pounds this way. I did not know better, and I was poorly educated and very depressed. I've kept my weight off for over 10 years. For reference, I also have PCOS, Hashimoto's, and hypothyroidism. Well, didn't know you could have those 2 together. You can say money is a factor, but healthy food saves me money. 10-fold over processed items that cause obesity. I buy and grow my veg, eat frozen fruit and veg, and plenty of legumes and even rice. Cut out the stuff that comes in a box and in caloric drinks, and you will start to see changes. No gym membership needed. You can walk. I live 2 hours from the nearest city, and I walk every day after dinner. You can do it too. Have a nice day. What do all 3 of those have in common? They're not subscribers to this channel, nor do they know the journey that I have been on. But that's why I say trolls, because what I find interesting is they found it necessary to come watch the video. But did they learn anything? Apparently not. They didn't learn that there sometimes are reasons that make it impossible to do any kind of weight loss. I won't say impossible to do any weight loss. I'll put it this way. It makes it harder to get weight loss. When Thomas and I were living with my mother-in-law, there was plenty to do. We did a lot of yard work with her, those kind of things. She had a huge field, and I tried to walk the field a couple of times as part of a walking routine because she lived on a rather busy highway. Well, the field was so uneven and so dangerous. Walking out there, I would have probably broken an ankle, even broke a leg. So instead, I walked her driveway back and forth till I got my, steps in. But we ate healthy food. I've continued to do that. Now my turn took turn for the worse when, as I was part of a weight management program, The doctor insisted that I needed to eat more than 12 to 1300 calories per day. Although I said to her, I've never lost any weight on anything above that. But she insisted, so she wanted me to do a 1500 calorie a day. That was including the exercise that I was doing. I did that, and I gained 40 pounds. And it took me a long time to get that weight off. And it was hard. And then, of course, the whole thing with Thomas and the cancer, him not wanting to eat, just having to make a lot of dietary changes to help keep him fed and with some nutrition, some healthy nutrition, which if you've ever dealt with anybody that's on cancer, food texture is a big issue, and it's something that's difficult. For him, he would prefer to do the boost. Ensure if there wasn't any boost available. I made him a lot of shakes, protein shakes, and that was with the doctor and the nutritionist approval. We tried all the tricks and all those things. And some of those things worked, some of them didn't. But nutrition is hard to manage, period, many times. So yeah, did all that. But now I'm finally down to where I've lost 75 pounds now. And I think I'm doing fine. Doctor thinks I'm doing fine as well. Have I made a lot of dietary changes? Yes. Do I mainly stick to a low-carb diet? Yes. And part of the reason being, when I do not stick to a low-carb diet, my blood sugars go crazy. And I tend to choose a lower carb diet. So, I just find it interesting that apparently they had to find a reason to watch the video and then felt the need to comment so negatively, not knowing a thing about me and my journey. So, I just find it funny. And yeah, I'm the type, I'm going to leave those comments up there. I'm going to show folks, basically, what a jerk and an idiot you are. And yeah, I do feel like that. Because when you come into someone's YouTube space, you make a comment to them like that without knowing anything about their backstory, about what has gone off, and what their weight loss journey, or any journey is, you really make an idiot out of yourself. So yeah, I did find that rather interesting. Did get most of the bamboo cut. Got most of it picked up. I've got it picked up, but I need to tie up the bag and bring it up. It's down at the bottom of the hill there. And I put them in those big 55-gallon contractor's trash bags. They're about 3 mil thick. Tie them up, and then when the trash comes, they pick them up. And I've never had an issue with them not picking it up. And when I'd gone to the conservation group here, I'd asked the best way to get rid of the bamboo, which a lot of people call it the river weed. And it is Japanese knotweed, which is Japanese bamboo. And if you've ever cut it, you know exactly. Looks exactly like bamboo. The only difference is it doesn't get as round and as thick as regular bamboo. And it only grows about 10 feet instead of 30 feet. But they are the same type of genus. So, yeah. And I do think it's rather interesting that all the techniques that everyone has told me to use for this bamboo, none of them work. Tomorrow I am spraying some pesticide on it to help kill it back, and hopefully, since I do have it cut and those stems are left to expose the root, hopefully that when I spray it, it'll get into the actual root and help kill that. But everyone has told me it takes 5 to 10 years to get rid of it. And a lot of that just amounts to constantly cutting it back, cutting it down. So, yeah, that's the joy of having bamboo in your yard. It's no fun. And what I think is funny is I have someone who wants bamboo. Like, you are crazy. And they don't realize how invasive it is. Because, like I said, it's like strawberries. What's the matter, Izzy? She's walking around with her stuffed toy in her mouth. She's looking for me. I don't know why she's looking for me. I'm right here in front of her. But, cats, so strange. So yeah, like I said, it's like strawberries. You get those runners that run under the ground and there isn't a whole lot you can do about it. They just continue to run and grow more. Watermelon does the same thing. Especially the round seedless watermelon. They have runners that spread and spread. And that's how, like I said, when I was growing up, we could go out to the field next to us and get wild, we called them wild. I guess they should have been more called volunteers. They were round, seedless watermelons. We'd go out and pick them, come bring them in, have them for dessert. You know? What is the matter, Izzy? I'm telling you, sometimes I wonder about her. She's upset because I've got bags that are cut. She saw me cut the bags. She saw me iron all the interfacings in. And normally the next day I sew. Well, I didn't do that today because I was busy working on the yard and doing some other things in the house that I needed to get done, calling contractors to try to come and get a estimate on what the job will cost, that kind of thing, to repair those walls. So, yeah, it's been rather interesting. What's the matter? So, yeah. And sometimes life just takes over. You've got to do some other things to get ready for whatever season's coming next. So anyway, I've not been back there sewing, and one of the things she likes to do is to sit and watch while I sew. She will get on a perch area and watch. She finds that comforting. So she can be a little bit of a silly cat at times. And of course, Brother's off doing his thing, you know, lounging up. He's king of the boxes, he thinks, in that back room. Some of the boxes that I've got packed up and ready are stacked one on each other, and he likes to get up on the top of those. Thinks he's the king, so he enjoys doing that. And of course they enjoy laying back there in the craft room because that's generally where the deer come down first. Although sometimes they do come down in the front first. Sunday morning when I had opened up the window blinds, I opened the window blinds for Ronan because he likes to look out the window, and he usually whines and just comes and talks to me the entire time until I get those open. But I'd opened up the blinds and there were like about 6 deer right outside the window, And it scared me because, I mean, they were like right up close, less than a foot away in that window area, and that shocked me because I had never seen them that close. So kind of startled me, and I kind of, cried out a little bit. Of course, Ronan, had to hop up there and see what's going on. You had to make sure everything was okay. He sat there and watched the deer the entire time. And they kind of munched around a little bit. Of course, they didn't eat all the grass up there. I wish they would. Wish they'd take care of it so I'd go out there with the weed eater. Got to do that later on this week too. So, just craziness. So what are you guys working on today? I decided to work a little bit more on my knitting and the crochet as well, dividing that time up. Been watching a few of you folks' videos that are out there, those of you that put out videos, and I enjoy doing that. And generally I will sit and crochet or knit while I'm doing that. Sometimes I'm doing some research here and there for other things. For the healthier you, or looking up different stories that are odd, because that's always fun to see the odd stories. And for the what intonation. So, and plus other things that I'm looking for, just because I'm nosy. If I have a thought in my head, what is that? What happens with this? I go look it up. I go Google it. Or Bing it. Or DuckDuckGo it. Whichever. And I saw today where Ross is back with Smells Great Yarn. Smell Great guy. I am so glad to see that he's doing videos again. And yeah, we do get burnout sometimes and need to take a break because we're tired or whatever. And it's nice to see that he's taken that break, but I was glad to see that he's back. I do enjoy his videos quite a bit. And I've noticed quite a few of the podcasters are putting out some Boggy Creek blanket tutorials, and I think that's great. That excites me. Not only that, because it gives you new ideas for blankets, or it's just a great way to show your support for this children's group, this organization that provides camp for the kids that otherwise would not have the ability to go to camp. I had signed up through my insurance company for the Onduo, which is to help with the diabetes management, that kind of stuff, just because she wanted to see different, mainly because my doctor wanted me to get in on the app so that they could be easily downloaded. Generally, I bring her in a copy of my blood sugars, and they are generally put on a sheet that I keep on my computer. Then I print them out for her, then bring them in. And I do have it's a One Touch that I've used for years. But for you to use the computer program, that is a cost of about $200 to $300 a year. And I have never been interested in paying for that, and I've told her I don't think it's worth it to pay that kind of money. So apparently the Onduo comes with my insurance, so that's fine. I'll do whatever she wants. Whatever she thinks works the best. And that's, you know, a lot of people get frustrated with physicians. And I do get frustrated with my physician sometimes. Because sometimes she doesn't pay attention well. You know? But other times she does. So, yeah. I have, I have an appointment for a telemed because the results of my sleep study came in, but it's not until like September the 3rd, so then she'll talk with me on that. And I got something weird from CVS saying I had a new prescription the doctor had ordered. I don't have any new prescriptions. So I don't know. Just find it interesting. Between CVS and Express Scripts. Keep getting these messages from Express Scripts. They can save me money on my prescriptions. It's the same cost as using CVS. So, I don't know. And Express Scripts is what my insurance and Medicare in my area uses. So, I know there's a couple of other prescription services that you can use. But, yeah. And I gotta tell you, these drug costs are getting ridiculous. I had a increase in one of my drug costs, and I went to look, and when I'd signed up with this company, I had a total of, I think it was $9,950 for drugs that they would pay cost for. And there was nothing about being in a middle gap. Now all of a sudden, when I go to look up the policy, they've changed the policy since I signed up. That's what annoys me about these policies. They can change things at a whim without sending you any notification. So now they've reduced that down to $900 instead of that $9,950. So now I'm in one of those, what they call gaps. So I have to pay a higher price for my medications. And that just ticks me off. Yep, totally ticks me off. Wouldn't be so bad if they weren't charging so much, you know? So anyway, how's life treating you guys? Done a lot of whining today. Do apologize for that. Yeah, I'm getting a few things done here. Of course, what I think is funny is all of my WIP projects are larger projects. You know, so it's not going to be anything I'll get done like today or tomorrow or this week. Take a little bit longer for that. Would be great if I could spend all day crocheting. Can't these days. So, yeah. Just find it interesting. Found Thomas's flute and his piccolo. And I don't play flute and I don't play piccolo. So I thought about selling both of them. But I realized I don't know if the pads on the flute are in good condition. And yeah, I can list it, condition of the pads is unknown. Both the piccolo and the flute. But I forgot that he had the piccolo, to be honest. And of course, he hasn't played either one of them. He didn't play them probably from about 2 months before his cancer diagnosis. He hadn't played. And he didn't play them while he was undergoing chemotherapy. So they've just kind of sat, he had them in a tote with the music. It's got all kinds of music and, how-to flute books and that kind of stuff. So, yeah, that's something trying to decide what to do with. Not knowing much about the flute, I can't even determine what type of flute it is. I was thinking about taking it to one of our band directors. Well, he was a band director here, look, in the Lock Haven area, and asking him if he knew if he could give me any information on the flute. So I may do that. Because I hate to have them just sit here when someone could be using them. Someone, maybe a student that's wanting to start to learn to play the flute, it might be a good choice for them. And it's steel, so silver-plated stainless steel, so can't see it being, gotten rid of that way. And I did find about, I want to say he had a total of maybe 9 to 10 hard drives that he'd taken out of computers and was storing. Have no idea if they work or not. And was like, all right, now what do I do with those? I mean, when it came to computer parts, computers, he refused to get rid of them. Even when they were long dead, he would hang on to these things. And I never understood that. I was like, honey, my Toshiba is dead. Let's get rid of it. No, it could be used for parts. It could be used for this. But nowadays, if you determine that, no, it can't be used, let's get rid of it, guess what? You got a little bit of a problem getting rid of it. Because nowadays, most landfills will not take it. And most of them charge you a fee to get rid of them. So, yeah. But it's okay. I'll find a way for them to get done. Get gone. I do know there are recycling places that will take them, so that's another option to look at. Nose is really itchy. It's from being out in those bamboos and that weeds. Does it to me every time. But I do have to say, one of the things that I do enjoy about being outside, working in the yard, those kind of things, are seeing all the bees. I have a lot of, let's put it this way, strange flowers, natural flowers to the environment, and weeds, and the bees flock to the flowers that they have. So it fascinates me to watch bees when they light on the flower and they go to take the nectar, that kind of thing. Haven't seen a snake yet. Doesn't mean there aren't any out there. Just means I haven't seen any. Guess I've been lucky while I've been out there. Of course, knowing me, if it's a snake, I'll probably bop it on the head. Although, I still remember my mother-in-law one time. She was out there with a rake, and she was in the garden. She was raking, and she saw a snake. She hit it with the snake. She hit it with the rake to kill it, and it slithered up the handle. And she did manage to knock it off the handle and did kill it with the rake. But it was rather interesting to hear her tell that story, that snake coming up that handle that day. So we had a good laugh teasing her about that. She said, I should have just left it alone. But no, first instinct was to strike at it, see if she could kill it with the rake. Told her, I said, I think you would have had a better bit of an aim if you'd had a hoe out there instead of a rake or a shovel. I think you could have killed it a little easier. She said, yeah, I know, but, instincts. So anyway, that was my mother-in-law's experience with a snake. Like I said, I've not seen a snake, and I hope I don't. I did have one of my neighbors, as I was gathering up the bamboo, bagging it up, she stopped by the side of the road and she said, aren't you afraid of snakes being out there when you're out there with the machete? And I said, not really. Machete will chop off their heads too. So she kind of laughed. She goes, you're an awful brave woman being out there doing that. I said, well, somebody's got to do it. So, yeah. Things we do sometimes. And like I said, with the Onduo things, the cats have been all in the box. She wants to see everything that's in the box. I'm like, leave the box alone. It's got a meter in it. Don't worry about it. Stop being a cat. I don't think that's going to happen, is it? Cats are too busy getting into things, seeing things. Gotta be nosy. So, yeah. I have been enjoying seeing all the different things that folks have been making and doing. I have watched a couple of different videos for some different subject items, subject things. One of those that I thought was rather interesting is a young lady who actually she makes wire-wrapped what am I trying to say? Wire-wrap decorations. And a lot of that wire wrap involves crystals, different types of stones, those kind of things. And her channel is basically about that, but in a couple of the videos she has also talked about doing what you love, to make a career out of it and how you can do that. So I find those types of videos, I do find them interesting and like watching those kind of things. And then I like watching some of the just, strange ones. I like watching a lot of those, like Crime with Tia. I like watching her. Like a lot of different crafts. I like watching a lot of those Dollar Tree hauls because, quite frankly, sometimes my Dollar Tree never has anything or most of what they haul. So I do find that interesting. Of course, one of my favorites is Dollar Tree meals. Do you like watching that? Like looking at different budget things? Just find it interesting. I love watching recycled crafts because I think those are neat, and kind of think we need to be better stewards of our earth, and that's one way to do that. So do find those interesting to watch as well. I like watching junk journaling. I love watching people with shabby chic, making the different things that they make. I love watching how they take a just plain muslin bag and turn it into, quite frankly, a work of art with just lace and ribbons and, creating all those things, buttons. I find that fascinating. So, those are some of the things that I've been looking at lately. And of course, when you get on YouTube, when you're sitting and relaxing and just watching one YouTube video after another, you can go down a real big rabbit hole, which can lead you from one thing to another. I like watching some of those tiny home ones too, because wow, they have some great organization to live in a tiny home like that. I don't know that I could. We all know I have way too much yarn for that. I could live in a tiny home, I think, but I'd have to have a huge storage garage for the rest of the yarn and my fabric. And I don't know if you guys have watched Creative Grandma. She has been doing things where she goes to our local Hobby Lobby. And yes, it is our local Hobby Lobby. I share it with her. But she has been doing some different swatches using some of the different yarns. And I find that interesting to see the different swatches. And of course, like she says, it all depends on the stitch you're using and, the length of your project, how some of those yarns turn out. But it's neat to see the swatches when she does those. And I do love that Cody is helping her, along the way while she is recovering with her eyes, that kind of thing. I did notice, I think she had a new blanket tutorial out there this week. Haven't watched it yet, but I have it on my to watch list. And I was seriously thinking about getting rid of my cable because I don't watch it anymore. I mean, I rarely watch TV at all. Generally it's YouTube. So, I don't know. We'll see. I'll decide what to do later on as I go along. Oh, and I did have, and I've had a couple of you ask me several times, am I moving or just moving my yarn? I will be moving once the house is sold. So yes, I am moving. Eventually. Just not yet. So hopefully some of you will see this video that have been asking if I'm moving or not. Yes, I am eventually. Not just yet. Do I know where yet? No. Haven't gotten to that point yet. Soon, I hope. Just because I would like for it to be all settled and done and out of the way, you know? But not only that, but I'd like to have to quit cutting bamboo. I'll be honest there. I would love for that bamboo to just drop dead. You know? It's too bad you can't get bamboo blight that kills it, right? You know, like tomato blight. Oh, and that was another thing. Lately, I don't know what it is, but a lot of the, we have a couple of farmers markets out here, and we, you know, being 65 and 60 and older, you're eligible in many states for veggie vouchers, which gives you anywhere from $50 to $60 each growing season that you can use on veggies at these different farmers markets. Well, lately, the tomatoes at the farmers markets have had no taste whatsoever, which I find interesting because the tomatoes in Walmart have better taste. It's bizarre. Just think it's bizarre. And I watched a video the other day, which I thought was interesting. It was a video where a fella took cabbage, basically shredded it very finely, added in a couple of eggs to make like a batter. Then he spread it out into some square pans, a little bit of oil, cooked it on one side, then flipped it over and cooked it. Then stuck it in a freezer for a little bit to cool down because it was too hot to use. And then he made a sandwich with it. I thought, wonder what that would be. But then again, it might be kind of like, you know, the cauliflower pizza crust. Might be okay. Might be worth a try, right? Yeah. All right, guys, I think I have chatted on long enough. I've carried on, whined and talked and whatnot. So I am going to let you go. I will see you again soon. But in the meantime, be a little kinder to yourself and to others, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.